everybody, and welcome to Project Life Weekly. I have been a little bit MIA. I haven't posted here on my public channel in a couple weeks. It's been bananas with the kids getting ready to end school. We all were recovering from being sick. We all had bad allergies. I just could not keep up. I've kept up with my membership videos, so I'm sure you've seen several membership videos posted, but I just could not get to my Project Life album. And so I'm diving back in, and I know that I always talk about having a system, and if you have a system, you can keep up with Project Life. And I really, really believe that because that's the way I'm able to keep up with it. So I have not been in my album in a couple weeks. Now, I also always say, just go forward. I get so many questions. The number one question I get is, how do I get caught up? How do I get caught up? There is this obsession with us memory keepers feeling like we have to be caught up, meaning, okay, today is the end of, we're at the end of May, so I have to have everything finished at the end of May, and everything has to be perfect, and then I'm caught up. And I always say that I don't believe in being caught up because I want to have projects to do. I was just putting away some 12 by 12 paper, and I saw a bunch of layouts that I had pulled paper out for and had set pictures out for when Kayla was in 7th grade. She's going to be a senior next year. So this was years ago that I did this, and I forgot about them, and I had them in a pile. So clearly I'm not caught up. However, I don't want to be caught up. I always want to have something that I can sit down and do. I want to have multiple projects. Sometimes I don't feel like working on Project Life, but I want to work on Week in the Life. Sometimes I want to work in my personal album. Sometimes I want to work in my journal. So there is no law that says you have to be caught up all of the time. You just have to have a system to get back into things and to figure out how to get things finished. And for everybody, that's going to be different. For me, I know I work about a month behind because I'm filming, and that works good for filming. If you're not filming, you don't have to consider that. But I know that if it's May, I'm working on April. If it's June, I'm working on May. That tends to work out really well for me. The other thing is that not everything is always finished. You guys see me constantly flip through here where there are things that are not finished. A perfect example is I want to use this layout in here, but I don't have photos in here yet. This is from February. So since I haven't been in my album in a couple weeks, and we are going into June, and that's when my album gets split. June will be the last month in the first album, and then July through December will be in this album. So the first thing I'm going to do is you can see that it's getting pretty thick. And I still have, I haven't documented May. I still have June. It's pretty thick. Well, that's because I have a lot of plain page protectors in the back. And typically my first album is always thicker than my second album because, of course, in December, I only do the countdown. So it's like 3 pages. I'm not doing something crazy in there because I do December daily. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to flip this all the way to the back, and I'm going to take everything out for July through December, all my extra page protectors. I'm going to take all of this out, and we're going to put it into the second album. So we're going to set that aside. And then we're going to open this back up, and let's see what we need to do. And for this, what I like to do is just grab a set of sticky notes and a pen, and we're going to make a list of the things that we need to do. And then I also have a whole stack of current items here that I need to get into, I think April. So I think I'm still working on April. May and June I haven't touched. So I do have those. So let's just take a little look through my album and let's get an idea of what needs to be done. This is going to do 2 things. This might feel like repetitive or like, well, you're not really doing anything. But the first thing it's going to do is it's going to remind me why I love this project so much. And I'm going to be able to flip through these And I'm going to be able to look at these and get excited. And sometimes I think as memory keepers, particularly doing yearly projects, we get it done, get the photos in, shut the album, get it on the shelf, hurry up, get the next album, get the photos, get it done. And we never slow down and like look at it. There is so much joy for me in flipping through these pages and seeing like, how did the beginning of our year start? What was our life looking like? What was fun? What was sad? In today's society, we go from week to week and it's like, okay, this is the big thing this week. And then next week it's like, this is the big thing. Okay, this is the big thing. And we move from thing to thing so fast that I don't think that we get a chance to really enjoy, you know, what's happening. Sometimes it's sad looking back. Like there's sometimes that there's moments that are sad that maybe you don't want, you know, to like spend a lot of time thinking about. But the truth is that they're all part of life, right? So I just recently got an order of like, I ordered like 6 packs of these tabs. So I got that. So there's a couple pages in here that need tabs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sticky note up here, and then on the sticky note where I'm going to take notes, I'm just going to set this off to the side, and I'm just going to start numbering and go journaling. And then I'll write journaling on the top of this. For the journaling, it does take me a bit of a minute. Okay. And then I will need to stamp my tabs, but I will do that at the end of June. So when I do my June ones, I'll go back and I'll stamp all the tabs because it goes faster. So we'll do stamp tabs. And this is just messy handwriting. I'm not trying to be real precious with it. I just am enjoying looking back. Oh, this is about the casino. I love how I did this. Oh, journaling here. So I will just put journaling at the top. I won't continue to write it, but what I will do is mark it on here so that when I go to my computer or I sit down with my pen, I can just flip to those pages. Oh, I love how I did this. I did a smaller photo. So the other thing is that I am not creative when it comes to printing photos when I am feeling like I have a lot to do. So usually at the beginning of the year, I get really creative with my photos. I print different size photos, or because I have a little bit more time and I'm excited to start a new album. When I get into the middle of life, when school's ending and graduation's coming and kids' projects are happening and recitals are happening and performances, I tend to not be creative with my photo printing. I just print 4x6 or 3x4 because I know that's going to keep me on track. I adore watching people who are so creative with the size of their photos and they can do all these fun things. I just don't have the time. And at the end of the day, I just want to get them in the album and I want to have a completed album. So you have to choose what is important to you. If it is important to you to have all the different size photos and it's all so fun and you love doing that, then you prioritize that. And maybe you don't have as detailed as much journaling. Maybe, you just have notes on your photos because you don't have time for journaling. Or, maybe journaling is the most important thing to you. So, Allie Edwards, if you follow her journaling is out of this world crazy. I'm like, oh my word, how do you think so deeply about your life all the time? But she has beautiful journaling because it's important to her. She spends the time doing it. It's her job. She can do it, whatever it is, you see that it's important. So you just have to pick the aspects that are important to you and then focus on those. I've done a lot of flip ups this year. So I've done a lot of flip ups. I loved this one. So this one was, I got a notification for Kayla that she was absent during 8th period. And so I texted her and I said, girl, what is this about? She said, I literally gave him a note. I had his class earlier. So in our school, if you have really good grades, like if you have like a high GPA, every quarter you get 10 class passes and you can use those at any time to get out of any class. And Kayla is very, like she plans out how she's going to use her class passes. In fact, it's the last week of school next week and she still has one pass left. So she said, I gave him the note. I had his class earlier. I said, haha, do you want me to call tomorrow and tell them, or do you want to deal with it? And then she texted me back and said, you deal with it. So then, Esau got my husband, her daddy got the notification too. And he texted me and said, why was Kayla absent for 8th period? And I said, she ditched 8th period to be with her boyfriend. And he said, that does it. She's grounded. And I said, we'll text her that. So that was so funny. I love that we have that. That was so fun to capture that. And so then I kind of told the story that I just told you on this journaling piece. Then here's some things that I kept in the back of my pockets. The other biggest question I get is, where do I find my calendars? How do I use them? Why do I use them? What do I put in the back? I'm going to do a whole video on that this next month. My husband has a weekly notepad, and he will often write stuff that he needs to do, and I just asked him if I could keep it. Okay, so this, I need a photo, but I put my tab over it. And so I need a photo for right there, or I need an embellishment or something. And journaling. I should put that underneath there. Okay, this was something I started doing at the beginning of the year, and then I've fallen off on it. I need to make a decision about that. This turned out great. I love this photo. Oh, this was beautiful. I just love where we live. Okay, so then now I need photos for this layout. So this is also giving me a pretty good idea of a few things. This was a layout from the first week of our stamping week. I still have one more week to share with you with stamping items. Hopefully it'll be this Friday. And I just slid this layout into, even though it's a 12 by 12 pocket and it was a 9 by 12 layout, I just slid it into this pocket so it could get into my album. Ugh. Everything's dried out now. It's not as pretty. Oh, but I love it. Okay, then we have... Why is my tab for February all the way in the back? This needs to go somewhere like in the middle. Okay, so March... This is the end of February. Then this is March. I love how I did this. The rainbow. This is an 8 by 11, like horizontal. This photo was an 8 by 10 photo that I just had printed with my regular photos. So that's another great thing that you can do if you are wanting larger photos, but you don't want to go through like the Project Life app or persnickety prints, or you don't want to have to send out for them to get these like special size like 12 by 12. You can just get large photos printed like at Costco or Walmart. You can get like an 8 by 10, a 5 by 7, and they make a great impact. I love this different size. This was a page protector that I cut down, and then I used my fuse tool, and you can see that it did not hold. I could probably just run my fuse tool back over it to fix that, but it's fine. And then I did this layout. I did this layout with my membership, and I just wanted something on the back of this, and I used a sticker pack and then added, I need to do journaling for that. So let's put a tab on that. I love doing my journaling like this. This is how I will continue to do it on these black and white cards. It works really well. And then there's my March calendar. Oh, this was testing, and Violet didn't have this. We opted her out for that, but Kayla did. And this hung on our refrigerator during the week so that they could see what was, because even though Violet didn't do the testing, oh, Violet was home actually. We kept Violet home Tuesday through Thursday. Or I think actually Monday through Thursday is when we kept her home. So Kayla referenced this quite a bit. Okay, so then this, oh, this is my making history. Yeah, so I need to write that down if I'm going to continue to do that. So if you follow, what I do is I follow the White House on Instagram. I'm not going to get political, so nobody worry. I follow the White House on Instagram, and every week, I think since Trump got in office, they have been doing like a Friday 1 minute recap of all the things that have happened in the week, and I will watch that and like document some of the bigger things that are happening. Regardless, I mean, whatever your opinion is, if you think it's bad or good, it's still worth documenting. And so I had wanted to do that each month, is just watch that and grab a couple things that have been pretty historical or that I have felt has been pretty significant and put in here, since it's been such a roller coaster of things happening. It's crazy. It's like I can't even keep up. Okay. Oh, this was when I did, okay, so I have these pictures. So I have these pictures. So this was the week that I started looking at my album like weekly. So even though I do monthly, so this is all the different things that happened in the month of March. So this is like normal everyday kind of photos, you know, some fun weather we had, prepping steaks to grill, visiting my sister and her, you know, my nephew, and then, you know, outside laying in the sun doing taxes. These are like normal everyday photos. Then anything in the middle is what I want to highlight. So highlighting Violet with the rainbow, and Kayla and I going out shopping, the yard, those kinds of things. What I started doing in this, at this point, is I started looking at like weekly. If I was documenting weekly, what would that look like? I don't want to document weekly because I know I can't keep up with it. May has been a perfect example of how I cannot keep up with doing things weekly. I've had a hard time reaching for the camera. So in those months, it's fine. Like I'll have a few things in the middle of May and it'll be fine. But there's weeks that I want to do more. So this was a week that I decided to document weekly, week 13, and I took a photo every single day for 7 days. And then I wanted to document it. So I need to print photos for that. I have the photos, but I wanted to print them in 3x4, so I didn't get them printed with my normal. And I love doing that. It's still the way I'm approaching Project Life, is if there's a week that I want to do something fun, like in April, there is a layout in here. Where is it? That I'm going to do oh, I might have already put it in here. That I want to do a Q&A. Yes, it's in here. So this week right here, I did a Q&A, and you'll see a process video on this, but I knew that was the thing I was going to focus on that week. It just looks like an insert in the middle of April, but that's the way I'm approaching my storytelling. It's just been a little bit helpful for me. So that was the week that I started doing that. You can go back and look at my videos to see me talk about that. Here's a fun flip out this way. Here's a 6x8. I've been including a lot of those. In fact, I have prom pictures that I did in 6x8 as well. I used the Ali Edwards quarterly kit. That was the fun kit. That was the theme. And I used that. So then that gets us into April. So there's not very many things. There's a few things, and I'll go through and fix those. I want to do that before the end of June so that this album will be complete and I don't have to worry about going back. And then this is April, so this is where we're at. So this was week 14, and this was Kayla driving. Her getting her license and being able to drive. We have a few photos of that. I think I need to do journaling for this. I'm going to leave that sticky note on there. Here's some everyday photos. I've not done any embellishing. I have not put together my calendar. This, I think, was the last one that I did on camera for you guys. This was part of our stamping where I did some stamping. I left some things not glued down because I haven't started embellishing yet. And you can see I have a little thing in here. So when I start embellishing, I will have those pieces all ready. So I really love the way that this came out. I stamped on a photo. Then the next one I have is the Q&A. And I have not put this together yet. And then I have in the yard. Oh, I think this is just everyday photos. It just kind of extends. So the next thing that I will have in here are these items here. So I will have, this is prom. I don't know why I have this page protector out. And I'm glad I did not put this.
All right, this is about the point that I realized that I had been yammering on for 22 minutes and I needed to get with the program. So I am just assessing where I'm going to have my prom pictures and what page protector I am going to use. And then I'm going to use that divided square, the one that has, I think, 9. I'm going to use that for my title page for July, and I have a really fun idea for that. I was going to do that idea in the month of May, but I think it will work much better as a title page, which is kind of fun because my title page for this first half of the album, I used that same page protector, so that will connect both of the albums and allow there to be some consistency through both albums. So I think that will be really fun, and you'll see a process video for that. And then for the second album, I always use the black page lifter. I think that most of the time the albums come with these black page lifters. I bought, 200,000 of the clear page protectors from Becky Higgins years and years ago. And I mean, I still have a really good chunk of them. I don't think she sells them anymore. But I still have a chunk of them. So the first half of the album, I use the clear one. And then in the second half, I use the black one. If you are not familiar with what a page lifter is, it is for when your album gets closed. So if somebody's looking through your album and it's open to the middle and there's pages on both sides and they just close the album, your page protectors will bend over the rings. And what the page lifter does is it lifts the pages as the album is closing. It lifts the pages and returns them to the right position so that they are not over your rings and bending your photos and your page protectors. So it's very important to have one of those page lifters at the beginning of your album. And so I'll use the black one on this second half of the album. And then this is the tedious part. I did get kind of annoyed when I was doing this because I ended up having to do it one by one, basically. And then I have a page protector at the very end of December, and everything behind that next page protector, that page lifter just works as a divider for me. And all of those are just extra pages so that if I'm working on Project Life, I don't have to go grab extra page protectors in the middle of working on something. I just have a variety in the back that I can pull from. And at the end of the album, when I'm all finished with it, what I will end up doing is taking out that page protector, moving it to my next album, and, you know, doing my whole setup again. I like to have a few things on hand in the back just so that I don't have to get up and go through all my page protectors, because I have hundreds of page protectors and it's just tedious to go through them and grab them from other places. So this is the second half of the album set up and ready for me to go, because I will be diving into that one next month, right? So I'm happy to have that set up. And also it cleared out some space in the back of this album because this one is getting pretty thick. The last few years, the first part of my albums have not been as thick as they are this year. I have done a lot of inserts and I have done a lot of flip ups. And so that has made this album really thick. I always say, do what works best for you. If you don't have a lot of photos, then don't worry about it. Just do 2 Design A page protectors for each month. I still think even if you only take 8 to 10 photos a month, it can still be a great view of life, of what you're doing, and you don't have to have a ton of inserts. So the next thing I'm going to do with you really quickly before I wrap up this video is I'm going to share with you what I'm using for the month of May. This is an older core kit. This is a Project Life by Stampin' Up kit. Years and years ago, Becky Higgins did a collaboration with Stampin' Up, and they did Project Life kits, and so they were called Project Life by Stampin' Up. This is one of my favorites. I don't really necessarily think you can find this anymore. And the funny thing is, some of these cards, the corners are rounded and some aren't, because I think this is about the time in my life where I stopped rounding all of the corners and I wanted them square. And so I think halfway through this kit, I was like, maybe I shouldn't round these corners in case I ever want them to be square. And that turned out to be what I ended up doing. So some of these I will have to trim down and put back cardstock on the back, and then some of these will be fine. I love all the colors. The great thing is that I have a lot of pattern paper and cardstock that will match this kit because it was a Stampin' Up kit, and I have a lot of that Stampin' Up product on hand from all of my years purchasing it. I also feel like it's really summery. I love the colors. I also very much love the sayings that are on here. And then when I was flipping through the cards, I was just showing you, like, these are filler cards. And you can see that I'm not looking at the backs of these cards because I know that my cards are organized in a way that I never have to look at the back of cards. If I pick up a pile that is filler cards, I know those are all the ones that I want to use for filler cards, and I'm not going to flip these over and look at the back of them. And then I have a pile of journaling cards that are the same way. I organize them in a way that I'm not flipping back and forth and constantly looking to try to figure out which card is which. I just want to be able to flip through and add them. So I'm gonna add a 4x4 card to my title spot, which is that upper corner. Because it's a 4x4 card, I'm gonna attach another 4x4 card to it to make it a 4x6 card. And then I probably got interrupted and had to deal with kids or pick kids up or take kids somewhere because I'm back and now I'm working on my calendar, which I've already grabbed a pattern piece of paper, a 12x12. It's that polka dot piece. That is a very old Stampin' Up piece of pattern paper, and it matches the kit perfectly. So I've backed my calendar with that, and then I have fussy cut some of the cards out. So the flowers at the very top, you can see that my phone was all messed up. My apps, I must have like deleted something, held something, and like deleted it, and I was looking for my calendar. So you can see I'm just like trying to like figure out where things need to be and where things went. So I fussy cut some of those flowers out, and then I added them to the top. I also whited out the 2025 under the May because of the way that flower ended up falling. It looked weird. So I just whited it out, and then I'm going to bring up my calendar, and it's going to be on the side of me while I am writing in all of this information. And then I did trim down one of the other cards, and I just put a little strip at the very bottom. So the things that I put on my calendar are not every moment of our life. Like, I'm not writing down every single thing. I'm writing down more, it's almost like a bullet points of what happened in our month. So like, my mom went home in May after being here in April, and I put the day she went home. I put down, we had a family night at our favorite pizza place, and I wrote that down. Kayla had a dentist appointment. Like, I'm not doing a layout or like putting in her album that she went to the dentist. Like, that's just a very basic life thing. But I just make a notation of it on my calendar. This calendar, it really more works as the back of it holds extra memorabilia and different things that I want to keep. And then it's almost like just a bullet point list of some of the things that happened in the month of May. And there are times that I stamp on my calendar, or I use stickers or die cuts, and I add them and I decorate it. And it's a fun way to use some extra product and do something a little creative. The places that I find my calendar is I will just do a Google search for 2025 calendar pages, and a ton will come up, and I just pick something that I like. I then will save it. Tons of them are free. You can find calendars for free if you just spend 5 seconds Googling it. I print my calendars on 65-pound cardstock. Recently, I've been using the Nina brand from Walmart. I just get the 65-pound weight. So it's not quite as thick as cardstock. Usually cardstock is anywhere between 80 and 120 pounds. But it's not as thin as like computer paper, which is usually like 20 pounds. It's a good in between. That is what I use to print all of the things that I put into my album, my calendars, my journaling cards, anything like that. I'm printing on 65-pound cardstock. So after I just note down what is happening, I also use washi tape on these calendars. Like, if for spring break, I'll put washi tape over the days that were spring break. That kind of thing. It just gives me the ability to use the product and, use all the product that I have in different ways. So I will put all of the notes on my calendar, and then I will slide that back into my album. And then I am feeling confident that I'm at a place to go forward. So I just need to do all of the journaling and then print the photos that are missing from a couple of those places. And then I'm getting ready to print all of my May photos. I do that at the beginning of the following month. I print last month's photos. So I'm getting ready to do that. I'll go through my camera roll. I will edit any of the photos that I need to, which I don't spend a lot of time editing photos, but if there's anything that I feel like needs a little edit, I will do that. And then I will send them to Walmart to print. And that is where I will get them printed, and then I will pick them up. And so next week you will see me dive into May. I may have all of these little to-dos finished, and I will share that if I do. But I will be continuing on with my album because I'm loving it. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will catch you in my next video on Friday. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that you can check out if you would like. If you're a member watching this video and you've missed any of the member videos, or you're new, you can go back and watch older member videos if you would like. Thank you so much for checking out my video, and I will catch you in my very next project.